Hello everyone, my name is Peter, or Per in Swedish, but Peter is a little bit easier in English. And I have been out collecting a little bit of different things to try to make a fire by flint and steel. It's, as you might have noticed, not the optimal conditions for spark fire, especially when you're using primitive methods, so I'm not even sure if this is going to work. It's raining a mixture of snow and ice and water. Everything is really wet. So not really optimal conditions. So what do I have? I have some quite wet grass that I'm really gonna just use as a platform to kind of put my dry material on. Also, I do have some fine branches from spruce that I'm actually going to try to fashion into kind of a little bit to hold my kind of bird's nest, or at least kind of like this, something to hold it so I can blow life into the ember. So I really like to use spruce branches for this, and these are also quite wet actually. Normally this is a excellent tinder material. Just put a little bit of bark or something that's burning. It catches a flame really easy. Anyway, but now it's totally wet, so we'll see what happens. But as you can see, I kind of made a little bit of a bird's nest out of that. Just to hold my other material, I will take some grass and process it down to expose fine fibers to make it easier to catch. As I said, this is totally wet, so that's not really a guarantee that this is going to work. I do have some, this is fat wood that I collected earlier from an old stump of a pine tree, as you saw in the introduction video, or the introduction part of it. It looks like this. You can really tell it by its smell, and also you can see this red type of streak in the wood, and really when you smell it, it just reeks of turpentine. So I have shaved that down into fine shavings, and this is what I hope will actually catch a flame and start burning. I have tried this method before, and in raining and really wet conditions, and that time it did catch a spark, a flame, but I wasn't fast enough to catch the flame, so it went out. So this will actually be, if this works, this will be the first time I get it to work. So in these conditions, of course. So we'll see. I will also add some fine birch, pieces of birch bark into the middle, and we will hopefully that will also help catching any fine small flames that you might get out of this, out of the fat wood. As I said before, I have been able to get a few small flames out of this kind of setup before, but when I did it, I was not fast enough in catching those flames. So that, I think, will be the trick. That's why I'm adding a little bit of birch bark, since birch bark is really nice flame catching small flames. So there we go. Okay, so here's my primitive flint and steel kit. And I will go through this, I think, in a different in a second different video. What we do have in here, a few pieces, small pieces of flint. I'll put those aside. Also, I do have a piece of axe file that I like using this as my striker. And here we have our small tinder tin, and in here I do have some shard material. Also I got some armadillo. I will take some of this armadillo as well as little pieces of shard material and put it as a kind of extender into my tinder bundle. I will also grab here, I think actually I will use some shard material to catch my spark. So I'll put that away so we don't get any water in there. Don't want to get that wet. There we go. Put that in the bottle. And as you could saw, I just threw that straight out, so that didn't work. At least not on the first attempt. So we might learn a little bit from this. Maybe we need some more fine material. Actually, I did get a small flame, but it didn't catch. So I would say that was probably our mistake. So we'll see, we'll try it again. It might just be that this is actually too wet to be able to do this, at least at my skill level, but we'll see.
To my Father, what of your sons, all of your children, even the ones.
You notice again, this material is just too wet. So actually, we have to put this down as a failure, actually, and use the old lighter. So it just goes to show that drying out your tinder material or whatever material you're using to catch your spark in advance is really, really important, and there's really no shortcuts. Especially when the climate is like this, where it's really unforgiving in terms of being both cold and wet at the same time, and all your material is really wet. So I think we did have good material to actually do this, and perhaps with a little bit different setup, using a little bit more grass that we really had dried out close to our body before, it probably would have worked. But as was with this material, I was trying to do a shortcut and that didn't really work. So we'll just get this going this way instead, a lot easier.